Well, good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to the network, the Neighborhood Sports Network, and the Prep Championship Series. We've got the Class 2A championship game for you on tap. It's the 4-seed Foley Falcons taking on the 2-seed Rockford Rockets. The second of two championship games today. We'll have two more for you tomorrow here on the network, and we'll come back. We'll give you the lineups and set this one up for you when we return to Target Field in the Prep Championship Series on the Neighborhood Sports Network.
NSPN.TV, in partnership with the Minnesota State High School League, brings you coverage of the 2024 State Baseball Tournament. Coverage is made possible by your local McDonald's owners and operators, offering competitive wages, paid time off, and tuition assistance. By the Minnesota Twins, proud supporters of high school baseball. And by the Star Tribune, your home for the best prep coverage.
All right, welcome here to Target Field. Championship game number 2, one in the book. Springfield, the 4-seed. Already one 4-seed champion in this tournament. We'll see a 4-seed in this one. The Foley Falcons knocked off the 1-seed Esco in the semifinals. They'll play for a state championship here against Rockford. Ron Osterman, Joe Kolar with you, and Joe should be set up for a good one here today. Two teams that can hit the ball all around the park, but also have some very strong pitchers that are well rested with all of the time they've had off since those semifinals.
Absolutely great to be here, Ron. I think the week-long rain delay almost has given these guys some time to rest their arms. And really, when you think about it, like I said, there are some powerful bats, but it's the defense and pitching for both of these teams averaging, holding their opponents under 3 runs each. And so it's almost a race to 3 runs against these strong arms today as we look at Emmerich for Foley and, of course, the stud Will Haas bound for Tennessee and Rocky Top on the mound for the Rockford Rockets. I think that's really what I'll be paying attention to today is to see while they're rested, is there any rust? This is a long break. They've been playing a lot of games in succession through sections and then the first part of the state tournament where you saw these teams. And I think if they can get into a rhythm on the mound early, not only will that help us beat the rain, but that will definitely help their team stay plugged in after this kind of long layoff.
And then how do you handle the emotions of standing on that same pitching mound as, you know, a lot of legendary players have come through and stood on that mound. Playoff games in Major League Baseball, just a different feel to look around a Major League ballpark versus some of the parks, especially in these lower levels, Class A and 2A. You know, you're playing with surrounded by cornfields sometimes, and here you're surrounded by an entire Major League ballpark setting, so you got to handle those emotions as well. But two very veteran-laden teams here. Seniors up and down the lineup, and you mentioned the two pitchers, Will Haas for Rockford and Trey Emmerich for Foley. Emmerich on his way to St. Cloud State, and as you mentioned, Will Haas headed for Tennessee, maybe joining a national champion as they play for a national championship over there in Omaha. Jim Valvano might have said it best. When you get to tournament time, Joe, it's survive and advance. Both of these teams in their quarterfinal game were down to their last 3 outs behind in the game. Rockford was down 1-0 to Blake to open things up at Dick Putz Field in St. Cloud, but they came up with 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th to win it. Foley in their opener against Zambroda Mazeppa was tied 3-3, gave up 2 runs in the top of the 7th to Zambroda Mazeppa, but undeterred, came back, scored 3 of their own in the bottom of the 7th, and advanced 6-5. That set up a matchup for Foley against Esco, the top seed, number 1. They scratched their way out of a first-round victory against Montevideo 3-2, and it was Foley 4-0 in that one, as Emmerich spun a beauty 6 1/3 innings of shutout baseball. He reached his pitch count, so they had to go to Josiah Peterson to get the last 2 outs of the game. Otherwise, I would assume Emmerich would have completed that game out with 13 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings. At Rockford, they kind of turned the tables a little bit. They stranded 9 runners through the first 6 innings of their game against Blake. They scored 2 in the bottom of the first, 1 in the bottom of the second against LeSueur Henderson, and went on to a 7-3 victory. So both got a little bit of a breather with 4-run victories in the semifinals, but boy, they were down to their last 3 outs in those quarters.
Well, and that's something we got to pay attention to about, like you said, the experience of the senior-laden rosters. We know that this is the first trip for Rockford, so they're trying to make history to lift the title, the trophy up on their first visit to Target Field. But as you mentioned, Foley was here last year. They've got that experience, and I'm going to pay attention to basically how comfortable they get in a tight game. And like you said earlier in the tournament, having that Foley 4-2 in games decided by 1 run. So that's something that they can lean on. They start, they're going to bat 9 seniors. They did put Wyatt Luke, the junior, out in right field. He's got the DH for him. So they'll try to lean on that and see what they can do. But it's going to be awfully tough to get anything going against Will Haas on the mound. And I think that ultimately, I think we're set up for a pitcher's duel today. The conditions, it's soggy, balls probably not jumping out of the park. And you mentioned they're not familiar with the setting. So can you calm yourself? It's not 40,000 rows of corn. It's 40,000 seats here in Target Field. So that's really going to be a thing early. I mean, we saw in the first game, though, for 1A, we saw there was some base runners around. And can people turn the lineup over? One thing we want to note from head coach Cody Hallahan, he said after they dropped that game in section to Southwest Christian, they inserted a freshman, Owen Schuster, as the DH in the 9-hole, and he's gotten some clutch hits to turn the lineup over. So that will be the offensive strategy today, is really station to station, maybe some small ball, but you're going to have to manufacture runs. And I think both of these pitchers, particularly Haas, if you give him a 2 and buckle up if it's a 3-run cushion, they could go on cruise control.
Yeah, Rockford 25-5 on the season, so playing their 31st game of the year. They played 8 games to win their section championship. The champions of Section 5, Foley, the champions of Section 6, they played just 5 section games, so that's the disparity in the record. Foley 23-4 on the season. So for a high school team to be playing 31 games, that's a lot of baseball. And 2 teams that not only, as you talked about the pitching, but maybe we should highlight the hitting a little bit here. Foley comes in averaging 8.2 runs per game. Rockford, 7.7 runs per game. Rockford has hit 18 home runs on the season, led by senior Aiden Smith, who has 7 home runs, 40 RBIs on the season. But Foley, on the other hand, they don't hit as many home runs. They've got 9. But they've got 7 players who come in here with a batting average over 300 on the season, and 6 different players who have scored 20 and driven in 20 runs at least on the season. So certainly the bats could be on display as well, but you mentioned the strong starting pitching. Usually good pitching will shut down good hitting, but if you can get a break here and there, might come down to who comes up with the big hit at the clutch time.
Yeah, we did see the ball cause a little problems on the defensive side in that 1A game. You know, defense didn't really back up the pitching the whole way. Couple errors, let some base runners through. So got to play clean, got to play crisp. Again, I'm not necessarily worried about rust, but like you said, having comfort, settling in, feeling good about being here, knowing you belong. I think Rockford's on. It's an absolutely magical run. They've focused on having fun and letting their record speak for themselves. We asked Coach Mike Byer in his 20th year there with Foley, we said, what's a kind of defining characteristic of this team? He said, soft-spoken, who lets their actions do the speaking. So they'll try to let their bats and arms do the talking today in this exciting matchup.
Yeah, you got a 20-year veteran in Coach Mike Byer, and then Cody Hallahan in just his 2nd year at Rockford. And you talked about Foley, some experience coming out of Section 6. They've played in state tournaments before. And then you've got this kind of veteran but fresh Rockford team coming in. 2 lefties. We see them warming up down in the bullpen there. So right-handed batters certainly might have a little better look at the lefty, but tough for those left-handers. And that Foley lineup at the top of the order, a lot of left-handed batters in that lineup. So we'll see how they fare against these 2 senior pitchers.
And how cool is that, too, what we just saw on the screen, and right now the kids in the dugout. I mean, you get excited about the stats, the matchup, the playing, but just the experience for these kids to get here to Target Field. I mean, we talked with all the rain we've had. I think I read that today. It's rained 15 out of 20 days and now make it out at 16 out of 21. One of the rainiest Junes we've ever had. Kind of a perfect storm for the State High School League, but to stay committed to getting these kids to Target Field, working around the Saints on a long homestand at CHS Field. The Twins pop back in town for a little bit against the Rays this week, but we were committed to getting these kids here to Target Field because that's part of the fun. Not only is it important to get to the state tournament to have a chance to win the title and make those memories, where you do it also matters because it tells you this is something special. So to sit on the same dugout as the big leaguers, to warm up in the bullpen just like your heroes, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we played the championship games at CHS Field last year, and certainly that's a fun setting as well. But you said it well. This is where the major leaguers play, and every kid's dream is to become a major leaguer and to be able to play in this setting for a state championship title to bring it back to your hometown. That's really an exciting thing for really everybody involved to be able to come here to Minneapolis. Not a real long drive for both of these teams. Sometimes, in this Class A and 2A, you get these long road trips that ESCO, for example, last year, having to come all the way down, but probably about the same distance for these two teams to meet up here in Minneapolis, and hopefully we can dodge the raindrops enough to get this championship game in. They've moved the 3A and the 4A games to tomorrow based on the forecast for later on in the day today. So hopefully we get these games in today, get those games in tomorrow, and we will have crowned our 4 champions here in State High School in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see the fans here soaking it in. I mean, think about the hard work that all these families have already gone through. You were saying, Rockford's played, this is their 31st game. All the hours and time and travel and dropping off and picking up. And the parents and families who support these kids and their classmates, their teachers. I know that both schools have fan buses that were loaded up, and first they were going to come Monday, they were going to come, then it was the rain again, now it's today, and all 4 today, now it's split 2 and 2, so a lot of adjustments being made. No doubt. I was talking about it with my wife when we were talking about the game today, and I'm thinking how many families probably thought this weekend was circled for a trip to the cabin, heading up there, or maybe they were going on their long planned summer road trip after baseball, but then I think you change your plans to come to Target Field for something like this. Pretty easy decision.
That you do. Yeah, it's really a fun time here to close out the high school season, and hats off to the Minnesota State High School League, hats off to the Minnesota Twins. We couldn't be more proud to be the exclusive streaming partner of the State High School League. If there's a champion crowned in high school, it's crowned on the Neighborhood Sports Network, and so we're just pleased to be able to be here at Target Field, be able to bring you, first of all the games leading up to here, but then the 4 games here in this Prep Championship Series. Exciting time for everyone involved.
Absolutely. We see the fans there, some tucked under not a bad seat in the house, especially when the house isn't totally full, but you know what? This would pack a small-town ballpark. So as we watch the grounds crew as well, they're getting things cleaned up right behind the first baseline. They've done a marvelous job. The fans soaking it in, saying hi, seeing each other on the big screen. And again, the whole field looks great. I think another thing, as we talk about the field and everybody kind of settling in, sight lines are going to matter. These are different ways of seeing the ball come off the bat, different backgrounds. The grass is wet. We had the tarp on the infield, so we should get at least a pretty speedy roll there. But that's something to watch as these balls, while they are coming off aluminum bats, how much do they slow down? Does that stop a double from becoming a triple? Does it stop a single from becoming a double? Are we going to have any footing issues? Those kind of little things are going to play into how this game unfolds, and the field's going to be in the best position it can be in. But, again, new environment for these kids, trying to figure out how to play their game on a new setting on the big stage. So, going to be really exciting. I think as the coaches meet and the umpires describe it, it's just so cool to think about what it would be like to take the rubber, run out to your position, cheering, coming from your fans here at Target Field. Quite the day on tap.
Yeah, they played the quarterfinals and the semis up in St. Cloud, Dick Putz Field, and then they moved down here to Minneapolis for the championship game. And for Rockford, not only on the mound has Will Haas helped propel this team to the state championship game. He's 5 for 8 in the first 2 games in the state tournament up in St. Cloud. But Riley Moran, the number 7 spot in the order, 4 for 6 with 2 runs scored for Moran, the second baseman. Aiden Smith, the power hitter I mentioned at the top with 7 home runs, 40 RBIs. He's 2 for 7, but it was his 2-run home run that really opened things up in that semifinal victory. And for Rockford, Josiah Peterson, 4 for 6, 2 runs scored, 3 RBIs, a 2-run home run. And then Reed Hermanson in that 4 spot in the order, 3 for 7 with a run and 2 RBIs. So at this time, let's turn things over to our public address announcer, Steve Carroll, to meet the lineups here in this Class 2A championship game on the Neighborhood Sports Network.
So thanks to the Minnesota Twins and their cooperation in making this event. 5 with a record of 25-5. Let's welcome the Rockford Rockets. Against the champions of Section 6 with a record of 23-4. Put your hands together for the Foley Falcons. Now let's meet the entire rosters for both teams. We'll begin with the visitors on the scoreboard, the Rockets. Junior number 7, Joe Evans. Senior number 9, Matt Rothy. Senior number 10, Logan Vecino. Senior number 11, Carter Dornsbach. Sophomore number 12, Noah Torborg. Sophomore number 13, Brad Gronke. Senior number 5, Brad Gussie. Ninth grader number 16, Billy Tombers. Now it's time to meet the starters for Rockford. Leading off at third base, number 3, Pat Benabose. Batting second and doing the catching, number 8, Max Edwards. Batting third in right field, number 4, Aiden Smith. Batting fourth in center field, number 1, Jake Eisentrager. Batting fifth and doing the pitching, number 6, Will Haas. Batting sixth at first base, number 21, Colton Lundberg. Batting seventh at second base, number 5, Riley Moran. Batting eighth at shortstop, number 2, Wilson Sanderson. Batting ninth, the designated hitter, number 14, Owen Schuster. And in left field, number 17, Riley Strahler. The assistant coach, Derek Bratch. Assistant coach, Aaron Jensen. And head coach, Cody Hallahan. The Rockford Rockets. Now let's meet the non-starters for Foley. Senior number 8, Chase Dollar. Junior number 9, Keegan Frisbee. Junior number 10, Tyler Wilhelmy. Sophomore number 12, Noah Brunn. Junior number 14, Michael Yanta. Ninth grader number 15, Noah Gopinski. Ninth grader number 16, Teddy Rasmussen. Junior number 17, Deegan Beck. Senior number 23, Gavin Owen. Sophomore number 25, Jordan Lewandowski. Student manager, Gavin Worth. Student manager, Jake Munson. And now here are the starters for Foley. Leading off at center field, number 4, Bryce Gopinski. Batting second, doing the catching, number 3, Josiah Peterson. Batting third at third base, number 7, Brett Leach. Batting fourth at first base, number 21, Reed Hermanson. Batting fifth and doing the pitching, number 2, Trey Emmerich. Batting sixth, the shortstop, number 22, Derek Damon. Batting seventh at second base, number 11, Jaden Enerson. Batting eighth in left field, number 1, Jace Molitor. Batting ninth, the designated hitter, number 5, Alex Jennison. And in right field, number 13, Wyatt Luke. The assistant coach, Mitch Keeler. and Dan Marad. Your head coach is Mike Byer. The Foley Falcons. Here are the umpires. At first base is Ryan Season. At third base is Austin Legesse. And home plate calling the balls and strikes is Bryce Jacobson. Our anthem was played prior to our earlier state title game. We're ready, Falcons and Rockets.
So we are ready to get going here. The 2 seed in this Class 2A tournament, Rockford, taking on the 4 seed Foley, who will be the home team. And boy, those pesky 4 seeds, Joe.
Yeah, there's something else. I think like you said, the seeding doesn't matter. Jim Valvano, like you said, put it best. Survive and advance. These teams have great arms. You know, Rockford danced around the top 10 in 2A for most of the season. I mean, they've just got the pitching that stacks up nice for them. And it's going to be a real show, I think, on the mound as we get ready to rock and roll. We see behind the plate there, Josiah Peterson, one of the big bats for Foley, also part of the battery for the Falcons.
Yeah, we talked about these lower seeds on semifinal Friday. All 4 number 1 seeds were defeated by either a 4 or a 5 seed. Springfield, the 4 seed, knocked off Cherry in the Class A, then went on to win the state championship against Parker's Prairie. The 2 seed, Foley, trying to turn that same trick, knocking off the number 1 seed and the defending state champion in Class 2A, Esco, in the semifinals, and then they get the 2 seed in the tournament in Rockford. So we'll see if they can repeat what Springfield was able to do just a little bit earlier here on this same field. Come through that 1 seed side of the bracket as the 4 or the 5 seed, in this case the 4 seed, and claim home a state championship. Foley will win the toss and be the home team. They go by the seed in the quarterfinals. The higher seed does have the home field or the last at-bat advantage, but then when you get to the semifinals and the finals, it's back to a coin toss, and the Foley Falcons won the toss and elected to get that last at-bat. And we are about ready to get things going here with the Rockford Rockets, and Pat Binnabose will lead things off. .374 hitter on the season, 2 for 6 so far in this first 2 games of the state tournament. And Emmerich, the left-hander, coming off a 13 strikeout performance against that aforementioned Esco squad, starts things off with a swinging strike against Binnabose.
Leadoff man trying to get the bat on the ball. Binnabose on base percentage, .482. Like I said, I think base runners will be at a premium today, and it starts at the top to set the table for the big bats in the middle.
Yeah, Emmerich ahead 0-2 as fouled back and out of play to our right. Another fastball that Binnabose gets a piece of and stays alive. So as the leadoff hitter, trying to let your teammates get a look at that pitcher, but Emmerich is just coming with strikes right at the leadoff hitter, Binnabose. Swing and a miss. First out of the game, 4 straight strikes from Trey Emmerich, the 4th being a swinging 3rd strike against Pat Binnabose.
Good pitch here. Fastball had to bring it a little bit back into the inside, and Binnabose couldn't catch up. Kind of jammed him in a little bit as it moved into on that righty.
And you can see challenging Binnabose on that 0-2 pitch, and then right here to Max Edwards. Fouls out of play to the right, so 5 pitches thrown, 5 strikes for Emmerich. He's got the ball. He is on the rubber. He is ready to go, keep that rhythm going. Finally misses up and away to Edwards here.
But we also see from the Rockets an aggressive approach at the plate. They're coming out swinging. They're making contact. They're not going to just let Emmerich dictate to them. They want to be the aggressors up there.
Yeah, the team that averages .330 as a team hitting on the season, as that curveball misses in. So 2 balls and 1 strike now to Edwards. He has to jump back from that one. That misses inside. So 5 straight strikes followed up by 3 straight balls now from Emmerich, and Edwards up in the count here. 3 balls, 1 strike, just underway. Class 2A state championship game. Line drive, base hit into right field. It's knocked down by Wyatt Luke. He picks it up, and that's where that wet grass that you talked about, Joe, could come into play. That ball really skipped on that grass out there. Luke had to just knock it down.
He did, and that was a heck of a good play. That would have been 3 if it gets by him here. We see this good piece of hitting inside to out, takes it the other way. And then he was on his horse. Good turn at first from Edwards, but Luke does the job to knock it down and get it back in a hurry to keep the double play intact for his pitcher.
Now set things up here for Aiden Smith. 484 hitter on the season is Smith. Takes called strike, off-speed pitch. It was up in the zone there. So Smith wanted to just get a good look at that offering from Emmerich. Wasn't sitting. First pitch fastball with a runner on base. And a swing and a miss. Challenges the big right-hander there, does Emmerich, and gets the swing and miss. So ahead of Smith, no balls and 2 strikes. Got ahead of Binnabose 0-2 and finished him off. Now at 0-2, swing and a miss. So again, Emmerich not deciding to go with any type of a waste pitch. He just challenges these Rockets batters and wins both battles here at the top of the first.
He's definitely got the firepower to do that. We saw him when he elevates that. They can't catch up. And it was also good to see him come right at one of the big bats early. That was going to be a real tell to see were they going to be careful, where they try to pitch around. But there's really not a lot of places to hide in the middle of this Rockford lineup. So Emmerich going right at him. Also working from the stretch early in the game. Always a bit of a change. You do a lot of work in the bullpen from the windup. Now with the base runner on and 2 outs. That hole on the right side of the infield. We've seen all the foul balls from these righties going down the first base line. So they're late on it, and the hit went to right field. So see if they can squirt one through.
Pitch misses down and in. Emmerich obviously not afraid to challenge these batters. As mentioned, Smith, 484, 17 extra base hits on the season, including 7 home runs. And he just said, here it is, hit me if you can. And now Jake Eisentrager swings at the 1-0 offering and can't catch up to it. 1 ball, 1 strike so far. Edwards hasn't moved off of that first base bag. That one catches the outside corner. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to the number 4 hitter, Eisentrager. He's a .346 average hitter on the season. Mac Edwards 2 for 2 in stolen bases, and certainly a running count here with 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 outs, bottom half of the first, maybe, or top half of the first, maybe try to steal a base here, get into scoring position. But at 1-2, lined right at the third base.
What a catch.
Leach. They call it the hot corner for a reason. Leach had to reach up to his left or to his right and make the catch on that hard line drive off the bat of Eisentrager. But they'll strand the runner at first base. The 1-out single stays right there, and Emmerich gets his Foley Falcons into the dugout to take on Will Haas in the bottom half of inning number 1. So job 1 done. Put a 0 on the board. Get your team up to bat.
Absolutely. That was a really good play. Notice that was the first ball we saw pulled from that right-hand heavy top of the lineup there, but always at the ready was Brett Leach, as you said, at the hot corner. I think what we saw there from Emmerich was a real confidence in his stuff. Early going, rested, ready to go. I mean, this is a game he amped up for and showed it right there in the top of the first.
So you turn the ball over to Will Haas. 77 innings pitched, 9-1 record, 0.99 earned run average, 18 walks, and how about 151 strikeouts in 77 innings of work for the left-hander Will Haas.
Yeah, he's the real deal. I mean, you don't go to an SEC Power that's playing for a college championship for nothing, and the junior definitely has what it takes. He's got it at the plate as well, as so often happens with these high school stars, especially in these smaller classes. You get multi-sport athletes, but people who can do it all as well, and I really think that he brings a lot to the table, especially with that Tennessee pedigree. And talk about getting warmed up. If you see your future college team playing this late into June, you get the extra chance here to stretch out. You know, you're not going to tire in the next couple years when you get up to the next level, and they have those longer seasons and postseason runs.
Yeah, one might think at this point your college coach would be watching intently to see how his incoming freshman looks, but might be a little too busy right now to be watching us here on the Neighborhood Sports Network and see how Will Haas does in this championship game, but I'm certain that he's cheering for him from Omaha. hoping maybe that he can bring a Minnesota State high school championship to join a bunch of national champions from the college level with the Vols of Tennessee. But he'll have his hands full, especially Coach Mike Beyer talked about the top of the order really has done the damage. The top 6 for Foley all year long, and they started off with the second baseman Bryce Gapinski, 377 average on the season, 2 for 6 up in St. Cloud in the first 2 games. 2 runs and 1 RBI scored, so doing what you would expect a leadoff hitter to do, get on base, score some runs, and he fouls one back to even the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. So lefty-lefty matchup here to start things. And that one catches the outside corner, so it looks like our home plate umpire here gives a little bit off of that outside corner. Saw it in the top of the inning as well, as Foley got a couple of pitches on that outside corner, and now Haas is able to paint that corner here and get ahead of Gapinski, 1-2. And called strike 3. Edwards dropped it, but picked it up and put the tag on Gapinski.
Gotta like that, like you said, that if that extra inch is there, that's going to give you a real chance. And again, this is not an umpire's best friend when the catcher drops one that's right on the line and at the knees. But that's a great pitch, particularly to a lefty. It's fast. He's got to go try to reach out and get it. Now we'll see how he does against the righty coming up here, and that's Peterson.
Yeah, pitcher's pitch there, paints the outside corner at the knees and gets that called strike. I'm sure Edwards might have looked up at the umpire and said, hey, my bad, man, I'll get that next one for you. And Josiah Peterson swings and misses at the first offering. He hits .438 on the season, but as mentioned, 4 for 6 in the first 2 state tournament games, 2 runs, 3 RBIs, and that big 2-run home run in the opening round victory. Swing and a foul tip to the glove of Edwards. He can hang on to that one, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes here. So Haas matches the Foley, starting the game off with a strikeout. Now goes upstairs and gets Peterson swinging, so he elevates the fastball there, and Peterson can't catch up to that one.
Only his 7th strikeout of the year for Peterson. I mean, that just shows you the kind of heat that we are going to see from Haas. But both pitchers in the early going, what are we seeing? They're getting ahead in the count. That opens up a lot of options, especially if you're getting that wiggle room on the corners. You can really pick your spots then if you're on the mound.
Yeah, that really dictates the at-bat if you can get ahead strike 1, and both pitchers have gone ahead and got strike 2 as well, but misses upstairs to Brett Leach here. Leach, a .333 hitter on the season. First ball in play. High pop-up in the infield. Moran, the second baseman, drifts back. He's under it, and it's a efficient, clean 1-2-3 inning for Haas. We're through 1 here in the Class 2A State Championship baseball game on the Neighborhood Sports Network. Back after this.
It's a beautiful day for baseball at Target Field, and you are not going to want to miss it.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Oh, hey. Had a little hiccup. You might have to stay a little late. You know how you go into the system and you fix it, then something else goes wrong, and then your boss is like, hey, what's that? You know what? It might be better if I just did it. Yep.
Yes. Don't let summer throw you a curveball. Come experience Soda Summers at Target Field.
All right, 2 strikeouts for each pitcher there in the first inning, and clearly their game plan is attack.
Attack, and that's what you do when you know you've got superior firepower. And right now I think the guys on the mound have an advantage over the men at the plate. We'll see if that changes. Obviously, first time through any lineup, you're going to have to get comfortable at the plate. You're still feeling out the zone. You're trying to pick up his motion. These teams did not see each other in the regular season, so it's really a question of getting settled at the plate. We've talked about the pitcher's nerves and the sight lines for the fielders. Same is true for the batters. They've got to get settled in. I mean, you've got a great batter's eye wall here at Target Field just below the Delta Sky 360 suite, but it really is about settling in. But we said at the open that while there is definitely offensive firepower in these lineups, these are 2 high-quality pitchers in the Class 2A division, and I think it's really going to come down to who can sneak a base runner even into scoring position in these first couple innings to even threaten, because it's clear that the pitchers are on the front foot right now.
Yeah, and 7 days between the semifinals and the finals here, they're certainly well rested, and You know, they can throw until that tank is completely empty. It should be full to the brim, topped off and everything for both Emmerich and Haas here, and they certainly displayed that in that first inning.
Well, and we'll get to see them battle right now, lefty to lefty, Emmerich versus Haas. And that might be the story. Can you help your own cause when you get to go to the plate?
Two teams playing very good baseball right now. Haas takes up high. Foley coming in here winning 18 of their last 19 games. Rockford 17 of their last 18 games. So doing what you want to do, playing your best ball at the end of the season. We're seeing two really good teams matched up here for this state championship as Haas fouls it right back to the screen. So had a good cut there against Emmerich, but just fouled it straight back into the screen. And we're even up at one apiece.
And what we're seeing, at least again from these Rockford hitters, is they're getting the bat on the ball, not putting it in play just yet, but that was a difference between these first couple batters between the two teams. Rockford's clearly seeing it. They just got to catch up to it.
A rare off-speed pitch from Emmerich there. Missed outside, so 2-1. Missed inside. So Will Haas will get a look at a 3-1 pitch here from Emmerich. Neither of these pitchers walk a lot of batters. The last thing you want to do is put a leadoff runner on base in what's likely to be a very tight, low-scoring pitcher's battle. But again, aggressive approach here by Rockford. Goes after that 3-1 pitch and fouled it off to the left. So we go full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Just got a piece of it and stayed alive. Good contingent of Rockford students standing behind their dugout, trying to bring a state championship home to Rockford and their Rockets. We'll do it again here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Swing lifted, foul, and out of play to the left. So good battle here between Haas and Emmerich. Pitch number 8 of the at-bat coming up. Haas has come back after falling behind 3-1. Curveball, but that just stays upstairs. Boy, Emmerich hesitated just a little bit on the mound, was thinking he might have gotten Haas looking there, but umpire said that curveball stayed up high.
Yeah, and I got the sense there Emmerich was a little cagey, a little defensive facing Haas. He went right at the other big bat, Aiden Smith, in that first inning. They're a little defensive, fell behind, and eventually caught up to him. But good two strike hitting, I should say, by Will Haas, fouling off those pitches to earn that walk, his 19th of the season.
So Bradley Gronke will come in as a courtesy runner for Haas. Gronke, sophomore, short lead over there with the left-handed pitcher Emmerich, and throw back behind. Gronke is able to scamper back in. Colton Lundberg, 326 hitter on the season. 2 for 6 up in St. Cloud in the first 2 games. Swings and misses again. So they're working Lundberg away, and Lundberg lunged at both of those offerings and couldn't catch up with them. So again, another batter behind. No balls and 2 strikes. And right back at him again. Emmerich is not fooling around when he gets to 0-2. A lot of times you'll see him try to get that batter to chase, and Emmerich is just throwing it up there and saying, hit me if you can.
That's right, 3 strikeouts of the 4 outs recorded so far for Foley. Emmerich really confident in that fastball. And like I said, I think that at bat with Haas was the only one where he showed a little bit of trepidation. Otherwise, it's been foot on the gas, coming right down Main Street, try to catch up.
Strike called here to Riley Moran, as talked about, this number 7 hitter for Rockford. 4 for 6 so far in the state tournament. Has scored 2 runs, so good production out of that 7 spot in the lineup for Rockford, making their way here to this state championship game. Pitches, misses inside. Even up the count, 1-1. Fastball, and can't catch up to it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So far, Gronke Hasn't extended that lead out at all a little bit, just taking that secondary lead. Misses just outside, 2-2, but again, that opens up that hole on the right side for the left-handed batting Moran. Nobody really has pulled the ball except for the last out of the bottom of the first. Pop up in the infield. Coming in is Hermanson, the first baseman. He's struggling with it, but he is able to make the catch. No, he dropped it. He dropped it. Now they've got the runner at first. A little bit of a Texas two-step, but second baseman Gopinski came up with the ball, alertly ran over in front of the runner Gronke, who is caught in no man's land. Really nothing Gronke could do there.
No, we were talking about this as Hermanson was trying to back up on that. Tried to bring it to ground, fell out of his mitt, as you see right there before the tag was applied. Anderson could have just gone to second base with it, but decided to do the little stare down there. But we said, different environment, and also under these gray clouds, it's really challenging to track a ball just like that, as that one fouled back so the runner can't advance. But that's the first time we saw the ball skip out in left field. A great play by Luke in the first inning of the game to, kind of almost got by him. And there we see trouble handling a fly ball in the infield.
Wilson Sanderson steps in, follows the first pitch back. So again, ahead in the count is Emmerich, 0-1. A good call by our umpires there. A lot of times, you come up, that ball was in the glove for a long time, but you got to make that move with the offhand. When that glove hit the ground, the ball came out. That's not a legal catch. So good patience by umpire to let that play out. And Foley was able to get the out. A little bit of an advantage there that there was a runner on base. Otherwise, if there hadn't have been anybody on first, he'd probably reach his first base safely, and you don't get an out there. Sanderson fouls it back and out of play to the right, so 1 ball and 2 strikes. Change up, called, strike 3. 4 strikeouts in the game. 2 in each inning for Emmerich. We're through an inning and a half here in the Class 2A state championship game. No score, back to Target Field after this.
I've been going to college now for like 4 years, and throughout my time here at McDonald's, I've earned a little over $12 grand in scholarship money from Archways. So
Archways each year gives me $2,500 for my tuition, which is a big deal.
While working at McDonald's, I've learned good time management skills and good communication skills.
after I started working here, I convinced a bunch of my friends to come work here too because I thought the job was so cool.
Star Tribune covers high school sports as passionately as you live them. Don't miss a beat on the games you love. Check out Star Tribune all day, every day for the latest prep news, scores, and so much more.
So in Class 2A action, after the semifinals, they play the third place game, and Esco beat LeSueur Henderson 4-1. So Esco added a third place trophy and bronze medals to their championship trophy and their gold medals from last year. So quite a 2-year run for Esco. And then Perham, who was the one lone seeded team to lose in the quarterfinals, came back through and ended up winning the consolation championship 8-4 over Zambroda Mazeppa. So they brought a trophy back to Perham High School as well. So but we're playing for the for the trophy that everybody wants in this one. Foley and Rockford. And Foley will lead things off with Reed Hermanson after Will Haas set the Falcons down 1-2-3 in the first. He gets swinging strike 1 and called strike 2. Hermanson, you can see from the vantage point there, a little bit of an eye roll, like, what am I supposed to do with this?
And you see that one right there on that outside part of the plate. If that's open to Haas, he's going to be tough to hit today.
And called strike 3. So good morning, good afternoon, and good night to Reed Hermanson. And boy, did Haas have him set up there. They went up and away, swinging strike 1, down and away with a fastball to get strike 2, and then goes off speed here and just locks up Hermanson for his third strikeout of the game.
And that sweeper makes you think it's going to stay outside till it breaks in on you as a righty, and that's a real tough pitch, especially if the fastball's grooving on the outside corner.
So right back here, lefty, pitcher versus pitcher matchup as Emmerich, the 5-hitter, steps in, and he takes Strike one after the first pitch missed outside, so 1 ball, 1 strike. Both of these pitchers get that ball back, and they are ready to rock and roll. Misses way upstairs, so Haas kind of let that one go and sailed it up high, but Emmerich had a good look at it, so looks like Emmerich confident in that batter's box. A .403 batting average, 3 for 5 so far in the state tournament, so why not? But then there's that pitch on the outside corner, low in the zone. Again, if he can live out there, it's going to be tough for these Falcon batters to really do anything against Will Smith. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away here. Goes to the curveball to get strikeout number 4. He started the first with back-to-back strikeouts. He starts the second with back-to-back strikeouts, and here comes that curveball at 0-2.
Just had him fooled, breaking away, and it's almost as if Haas is in a kind of an inning-by-inning sprint race with Emmerich. Both now on 4 strikeouts on the afternoon. Here, Haas a chance to get up to 5, try to strike out the side as Damon comes up.
Yeah, he busts one in on Damon and catches the inside corner. Really nothing across the heart of the plate yet by Haas. He's just been nibbling at both of those corners. He's really in sync with that home plate umpire, and he's getting those calls. Going to make it very difficult as Damon tried to check his swing as they busted him in again, but fouled it off to the right. Late swing. It is a snapper. Pull him down. 3 strikeout inning for Will Haas. He's struck out 5 of the 6 batters he's faced. And as you predicted, we are set up for a pitcher's duel here through 2. No score from Target Field. It's the Class 2A state championship game, and oh boy, are we seeing some left-handed pitching on display in this one, Joe.
Well, that check swing there from Damon, I think, was the first sound we heard a ping in about 20 minutes from a Foley bat. And we saw the Rockford hitters come out very aggressive, trying to get at Emmerich. And even though that puts you down in the count, you're at least showing that he can't just come into the zone. You're going to be ready to swing. I'm not seeing the same aggression yet as Foley goes through the lineup for the first time. I think the real question will be, can their bats threaten? You know, you don't have to hit it hard, but we saw already for Rockford, again, it was kind of an oopsie, no harm, no foul with that drop pop fly at first base, but you gotta put the ball in play, and Foley on their turn at the plate is not showing that real aggression to do that. Now, to be fair, Emmerich's on the mound, so they've got help on the defensive side. So maybe it's only going to take 1 run to win. So we'll see how Rockford comes out here in the top of the 3rd as we get to see Schuster roll the lineup over to Binnebose and Edwards. So it's going to be, I think, we haven't had a runner in scoring position. Rockford's had a base runner both innings. Haven't seen a bunt attempt. Haven't seen a steal attempt yet. At what point do the coaches on both sides start thinking, I got to make something happen instead of waiting for something to happen?
Right, and what's most impressive here is this, you know, they're not doing this like in a regular season game. This is a state championship against a team in Foley that averages .330 as a team on the season, and Rockford that averages .339 a game. And this is the top of the order of both of those lineups through the first 2 innings. So very impressive showing so far by these 2 left-handers through the first 2 innings, and Emmerich will face 9-1-2, Schuster, Binnebose, and Edwards. Schuster, as you mentioned, just the 9th grader. Coach Hallahan gave credit to really seizing the opportunity when he got a chance late in the season to come up with some big base hits and roll that order over to that top half of the order where most of the damage is done by both of these teams. But as we've seen, he falls behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Jumps back from a fastball inside. That might have been one that you might want to maybe just try to not move quite as quickly out of the way of.
Get on base any way you can today.
Maybe wear it, but instinct as you get out of the way of that fastball coming 60 feet away, and tough to get out of the way of that one. You have to jump forward as it goes behind Schuster, and maybe that was a little bit of a purpose pitch from Emmerich with the 9th grader standing up in there saying, this is what varsity baseball's like at this level.
I was going to say, you look behind the plate, you see Peterson back there. He's a big body. Emmerich's on the mound. He's looking big. And Schuster trying to hang in, and they threw one behind him. So we'll see what he does with this one.
And misses just low with that one. So Schuster doing a good job here, falling behind. No balls and 2 strikes, but he's worked the count full. And grounds it foul up that third base line. So undeterred after having a pitch thrown behind his back, just the 9th grader digs in and pulls one down the line there.
And again, it's about the message that sends. The sound of the bat, putting the ball in play, saying we're not just going to let you dictate the game to us. That's what Rockford's been like the whole time. And here's Schuster to center. Nice play there by Kapinski.
Luke had him played perfectly out there in center field. Took 1 step in and then kind of stopped in his track, but really that's about the hardest ball we've seen hit, right back up the middle. Edwards shot one to right field, but number 9 hitter Schuster puts the ball in play, and maybe the top of the order sees that and gives them a little bit of momentum here as we turn the lineup over. First pitch misses outside to Benabose. He struck out leading off the game. Misses outside as well.
See a nice calming motion from the catcher Peterson there, asking Emmerich to take it easy, find the zone. He does with that pitch.
So Benabose aggressive ahead. 2 balls and no strikes, but goes after that pitch. And as we've seen a lot, foul ball the opposite direction. 2-1 now. For Emmerich. Foul just off of the glove.
We're just hearing the bat a lot more when Rockford's at the plate, which makes me think they've got right now at least the most likely chance to get a ball in play, get some runners moving around. But Emmerich, again, real tough to square up.
2 pitch is chopped foul up the third base line, so staying alive again. The number 9 hitter in the order saw 7 pitches before flying out to center field, and now pitch number 6 coming to Benabose, so at least Rockford is making Emmerich go deep in the count. There's a drive into the right center field gap. Benabose around first. He's going to try for 2. He dives in safely with a double. Aggressive right off the bat. Benabose was thinking 2 bases there. Never slowed down around first and beat the throw from Bryce Kapinski to slide in with a 1-out double.
Well, you see the strength of the junior compared to freshman there. Hit it the same spot where Schuster did, but hit it a little bit farther, a little bit harder, hustling the whole way, and that's kind of veteran experience, knowing I gotta make something happen here. Take the risk, go for the double, give yourself a chance to score with the big bats coming up. Now they have the first runner of the game in scoring position.
Yeah, Max Edwards, the catcher, he singled in his first at-bat. He lines it out into left center field. That's down for a base hit. Around third, coming in to score is Benabose. Edwards makes a wide turn, but he has driven in the game's first run. First pitch fastball, and he drilled it out into left center field. Good job by Kapinski to get over, cut it off, bowled Edwards to a single, but no problem for Benabose to come around and score the game's first run.
First inning, all foul balls out the right side from the right-handers at the top of the lineup. Starting with the number 9 man, we've seen 3 straight balls hit right back up the middle. These Rockford hitters have been aggressive. I think Coach Mike Byer knows that this is something they've got to pay attention to, so he's called his infield together to have a meeting to talk about where these pitches are going. Emmerich was trying to overpower them in the first inning. Rockford wasn't quite teeing him off, wasn't quite dialing it in. Now they've caught up, they understand, and again, their aggression from the first time through the lineup carries through. We see 3 hard hit balls, 2 of them for base hits, and now we have our first run of the game. And Rockford has a lead that if it grows any more, you got to wonder, could they ever give it up?
Yeah, same situation we had in the first. Smith drills one to deep center field. That's over the head of Kapinski. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Edwards is being sent around third. The throw is cut off in the outfield. It's a triple for Smith, and it's 2-0 for the Rockets. Boy, suddenly here in the top half of inning number 3, the Rockets have lifted off 3 straight hits. A booming triple over the head of Kapinski in center field by Smith. Easy triple there. and Edwards, who had to make sure that Kopinski didn't catch it, had Smith right on his heels coming around second and third, but the throw was cut off in the outfield, and Smith slides in with the triple.
As a former catcher myself, I can sympathize with having to go from first to home all the way around with a faster hitter behind you. But I tell you what, again, all 4 of the balls put in play in this inning have gone straight back up the middle. They are ready, and we're going to have to see what's the adjustment that Trey Emmerich can make to start mixing his pitches up more, finding that corner just like Haas has been for Rockford to try to keep these Rockford hitters off balance, because they are fired up and they have hits in mind. We've already got trying to hit for the inning cycle right now if someone can get one over the wall.
Here's Eisentrager, 2-1 pitch, 24 RBIs on the year, big RBI spot here. Get that ball out of the infield, get Smith home from third. Now we go 2 balls, 2 strikes. Really wouldn't think bunt or squeeze with the 4-hitter in. Foley has pulled the infield in. I think they're thinking the way you're thinking. We can't afford to get behind Will Haas any more than these 2 runs, so they're going to try to cut anything off at the plate here, but missing low and a good block by Peterson. That's the other risk. Throw one to the backstop and Smith can score from third. Eisentrager lifts it out of play to the right. That's the other thing we're seeing this inning. The Rockets really taking Emmerich deep into the count.
Absolutely, making him work. And again, I think Emmerich thought he could cruise like that first time through, just throw that gas right down the middle and let him try to hit it. Well, they're hitting it now. He's got to change his plans.
Line drive right at the shortstop, Damon. Big out there, but again, another hard hit ball off the bat of a Rockford Rocket. But boy, you couldn't ask for a better spot for that ball to be hit than right at your drawn in infield. Usually when a ball is hit that hard with the infield drawn in, that ball's headed for outfield for an RBI single.
Right there we see an off-speed pitch to start off Haas. Got to be careful. He was very cagey with him at his first plate appearance. Base open here. We said it was going to be a race to 3 runs, and they're knocking on the doorstep, the Rockets. So Emmerich got to be careful here. Can't get greedy.
Foul back to the glove of Peterson. So ahead in the count is Emmerich. 0-2. He has the ball standing on the rubber, just waiting for Haas to get back in there. Curveball misses inside, so is going to the off-speed pitch a little bit more against the left-hander Haas here. Did sneak that fastball in for a foul tip strike. Get up 0-2, goes back to the curveball, catches the inside corner, and gets out of the inning, but not before Rockford strings 3 hits together, comes up with 2 runs, leads this one 2-0. We'll head to the bottom half of the third when we return to Target Field in the Class 2A State Championship game on the Neighborhood Sports Network.
Come down to Target Field and experience a different brand of baseball. Here, this is raking, and so is this. That's baseball, soda style. Tickets available now to see your Minnesota Twins.
Hey, boss. Okay?
I said I'm fine.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
All right, so Rockford strikes first here. They come up with 2. And even though the number 9 hitter, Owen Schuster, just a freshman, lined out to center field, I think his at-bat really kind of was the start of that inning. Vinabos went deep in the count before he doubled, and then Edwards and Smith, first pitch swinging, laced a single into left center, and Smith drilled one over the head of Bryce Kopinski in center for an RBI triple, and Rockford was able to solve the mystery that had been Trey Emmerich for the first 2 innings and come up with our first 2 runs of this state championship game from Target Field.
Well, one thing about that, the field positioning of Kopinski, center field, a big space at Target Field, bigger than most fields. We've already saw Foley in the field, had that one drop ball at first. I mean, Smith tagged that ball, but could have had something to do with it, so we got to keep an eye on that as well. We see how shallow the center fielder is playing right now for Rockford is Evan Traeger tucked in a little bit.
Jaden Enerson will lead things off here for Foley. We talked about that senior-laden lineup here for the Falcons. They'd like nothing more than to finish their career with a state championship. Enerson lifts it to left. Left fielder Strahler moves over. Strahler is the one who is being DH for designated hitter Owen Schuster. So Strahler plays left field. It's Strahler, Eisentrager, and Smith left to right in the outfield. Edwards behind the plate. Lundberg at first. Moran at second. Sanderson at short. Binabos at third. Defensively for Foley, and they really haven't been tested much to this point, as 5 of the first 7 outs are recorded via the strikeout by Will Haas, but Enerson was able to put that ball in play. Flies it out to Strahler in left, and Jace Molitor steps in. Jumps back from a 1-1 offering. It's 2 balls and 1 strikes. Again, we talked about this kind of before the game, how pitchers at the high school level get that ball and they're ready to go.
And he's in a groove right now. Again, still the first time through the lineup though, so we got to give Foley the same chance we gave Rockford to see if they can turn the lineup over. The question is, will they have the same momentum? We've been monitoring this a little bit through the game. The Foley batters are a little bit off balance right now.
Molitor swing and a miss. He goes up again after that high fastball. That's really the backdoor curveball, and then the high fastball has been the strikeout pitch for Haas. Molitor just able to get a piece of that one to stay alive. Comes back from that one, so a 3-ball, 2-strike count. So again, bottom of the order here for Foley, doing the job, getting deep into the count, letting that top of the order, who's coming up again for a second time, get a good look, but Haas, undeterred, again, paints that outside corner. 4, called strike 3, strikeout number 6 in the game for Haas.
6 Ks, 3 of them backwards in the book, and that's because he's getting that outside corner that the Foley batters can't quite get to and can't quite commit to swinging to. So a little bit more aggression, as we see already now, a bunt look, just something to get something going for Foley.
Yeah, Alex Jennison, number 9 hitter, he had a bunt single in their quarterfinal victory, also laid down a beautiful sacrifice bunt. So he's very good with that bat in the 9 spot in the order. In fact, that one hit that he had in St. Cloud was that bunt single. But again, laid down a nice sacrifice bunt to help them get that 4th run in the semifinals against Esco. 2-ball, 1-strike count now to Jennison. And he floats one over the third base bag. Running catch made by Binabos. It's another 1-2-3 inning. Will Haas is clean through the first 3. This team has a 2-0 lead. We're through 3. We'll come back to the top of the 4th. We'll turn it over. Joe will take lead vocals from there. We'll have it for you when we return to Target Field.
MSPN.TV, in partnership with the Minnesota State High School League, brings you coverage of the 2024 State Baseball Tournament. Coverage is made possible by your local McDonald's owners and operators, offering competitive wages, paid time off, and tuition assistance. By the Minnesota Twins, proud supporters of high school baseball. And by the Star Tribune, your home for the best prep coverage.
Howdy, howdy, folks. Joe Kolar now on play-by-play as Ron slides into the color analyst chair. We flip-flop for the middle part of the game as we come to the top of the 4th. 2-0. Rockford Rockets with the lead. Those Rockets, the Jet Boosters, started firing up there on pitcher Trey Emmerich from Foley. A single, a double, and a triple, not in that order, but put 2 runs across, RBIs for Edwards and Smith. The big bats doing the damage. Still, Emmerich's having a good game. 5 strikeouts already. He's only allowed he's allowed 4 hits, but they're not. It wasn't until that last inning, the first time through the lineup, Ron, that we saw these bats for Rockford really start to heat up.
Got 19 RBIs now in the season for Edwards. 41 runs driven in by Aiden Smith, and Smith headed for Iowa Central Community College, where they play some really good baseball. I would assume he'll play there and then look for some sort of Division I type of offer, because big, strong right-handed batter, and you saw the power here. Calling the games at St. Cloud, I saw his power and bottom of the first inning in their semifinal victory over LeSueur Henderson. He hit a no-doubter over the left center field wall at Dick Putz Field in St. Cloud. So you want to be careful here and not let this one get away, because Will Haas is perfect through 3, and if you're going to scratch and claw to get a couple of runs, you can't afford to give up a whole lot more going forward here to these Rockets.
We'll see if Emmerich can shut them down as Lundberg, Moran, and Sanderson. Here's 6, 7, and 8. First swinging strike there by Lundberg. Struck out swinging his first time up in the second inning. Another swing and a miss. Catcher Josiah Peterson calling a good game. Left to right on the infield, Leach, Damon, Enerson, and Hermanson. Molitor, Gapinski, and Luke left to right in the outfield. Got him to chase there, so strikeout number 6 is Emmerich wants to keep pace with his counterpart, Will Haas.
Yeah, Lundberg does not get cheated. He goes up there swinging in his first at bat. He was hacking away at the first 2 pitches, and right here swings at the first 3 offerings from Emmerich and can't put any of them in play.
Riley Moran reached on that, we'll call a fielder's choice, the drop first base pop-up. Hits that one hard to the right side. It's going to get through. It's a single for Riley Moran.
Yeah, that classic 4 unassisted putout on an infield pop-up that he reached base on.
So Moran aboard, as many plate appearances, 2 times each. Got the barrel of the bat on the ball there. And again, if you're the staff over there for the Falcons, you're worried just about the sound, how hard they're hitting the ball right now off your star, Trey Emmerich.
Yeah, that's 5 for 8 now for Riley Moran here in this state tournament, in that 7th spot in the order for Rockford.
2 hits and 2 runs in the semifinal victory for Moran. Keeping up where he left off. That one fouled straight back. Again, we're seeing aggression from this Rockford Rockets lineup, swinging early and often. Count is now 0-2 on Sanderson. Struck out looking. Now he gets a swing and a miss there, and he will walk back to the third base dugout. Strikeout 7 now on the game for Emmerich, and it's just a testament to how good Haas is when you think about the fact that this 2-run lead almost feels like plenty.
Yeah, we're in the top half of the 4th inning, and that's 13 combined strikeouts for these 2 pitchers.
Schuster now had one behind him, almost on him, and then he hit it hard up the middle, and even though it was caught by the center fielder Gapinski, it kind of gave a spark to the Rockets offense. And since then, we've seen a number of hard hit balls since his line out to center. From the stretch, lefty to righty. Two balls and a strike. Schuster again working this count. He's got himself ahead. Inside corner, even it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Riley Moran, just 1 stolen base attempt on the season. He was successful, but with a 2-2 count here, good running count for Rockford. Doesn't go.
Same exact spot as last time, and that one's going to get down in front of Gapinski. And Coach Cody Hallahan wasn't kidding when he said this freshman Schuster has given the Rockets a spark as he's on base and turns the lineup over with 2 outs here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, big left-hander stands up there and throws it behind you in the state championship game as a freshman. And what do? You just dig into that batter's box, hit one solid to center, and now here just lift one out into left center field for a base hit. 2 runners on for the top of the order, and Binnebo's started that rally in the 3rd with a double.
First pitch swinging, fouled away. Binnebo's doubled and motored all the way to second. The aggression from Schuster in the 3rd at the plate, his line out led to the double and the aggressive base running, and the go-ahead run scored by Binnebo's. Right now, Binnebo's bats top 4, 2 on with 2 out. That one's going to stay away. Count leaving up a ball and a strike. Moran leads from second. Schuster from first. Binnebo's waits for the lefty. Emmerich. Gas upstairs. 2 balls and a strike.
With a runner at second, Foley electing to play behind the runner Schuster at first, and he's getting a huge lead. So anything in the gap here, Schuster's got a really good head start to try to score, but ground ball.
Enerson can't field it, and we see another misplay in the field from the Foley Falcons. And we had talked in the open as we looked at the field. It looks as in pristine conditions as it can be given all the rain we've had. But these fielders haven't had a ton of work on the infield, and that one off the glove of Enerson. And so now the bases are loaded. See if this came up on him on a short hop. Just took his eye off the ball, maybe caught a sight of Schuster cutting in front of him and forced him to kick it away. Hate to see it happen on a stage like this, but that's a part of the game as well, and loads the bases for Rockford as this is the second trip to the mound for 20-year head coach Mike Byer. Talking to Trey Emmerich. I mean, you look at his line, you say he struck out 7. He's starting to get hit harder, but boy, that's an inning-ending out right there you really want to have.
Yeah, Enerson just stayed back on that ball. You'd really like to see him moving forward as he fields that ball. When you stay back, that second hop comes up, kind of handcuffed him a little bit. I don't know if he was in his mind thinking, am I going to go to first here, or am I going to take the short way to second? And really that took his concentration enough to where it got away from him. Now a tough spot here, bases loaded, 2 outs, and Emmerich is going to go from the windup.
Edwards at the plate, the catcher, 2 for 2. He's singled both times, scored a run and has an RBI from the 3rd inning. Big spot here to blow it open and give Haas a huge cushion. (1-0) misses. Hitters count now, 2-0. Nowhere to put him, and the dangerous Smith on deck. No action in any bullpen here. Top 4, runners take their leads. That one misses in. We'll see. I saw a shake of the head from the third base coach. I don't know if that's Cody Hallahan or one of his assistants, but I'd expect a straight take here. Was a take, knee high, right down the middle. So still ahead is Edwards, 3-1. Moran leads from 3rd. Schuster from 2nd. Binabos from 1st. That one's hit hard. It's going to get down. 1 run is in. They're going to bring Binabos around, or Schuster around as well. Binabos to 3rd. They double their scoring. It's 4-0, and the Rockets starting to soar here at Target Field.
And that's what good teams do. You get a crack, you run right through that door. That inning-ending, should have been an inning-ending ground ball that Enerson couldn't handle, and the number 2 hitter in the order, Edwards, just drills a 3-1 pitch into left center. 2-run score, 1st and 3rd, brings Coach Byer out of the dugout, and that's going to do it for Emmerich on the day.
And it's just kind of an amazing. He struck out 7 through 3 2/3 innings, and he had his out to get out of that inning right there in that ground ball. Did his job. Defense unable to back him up, and we'll be getting a new pitcher here, and we'll also be shuffling some of the outfielders. So we'll see what the lineup changes look like as they go through this pitching change right now. So again, a big hit there. 3 for 3 now. The junior, the catcher, Max Edwards. 3 RBIs on the day and a run scored. This coming here with 2 outs as he hammered it to center. It's notable, I think, that all of these hard hit balls are going right back where they came from off Emmerich. So this 2nd and now 3rd time through for the lineup has really given Rockford an opportunity that they have exploited. And we'll get a new pitcher here coming in. It looks like it is number 3, Josiah Peterson.
Yeah, 3 hits in each of the last 2 innings. Just 1 hit through the first 2. Emmerich had struck out 4. Looked like he was going to, just kind of continue to shut down this Rockford offense. But then the Rockets, as we talked about, that credit to that 9th grader Schuster for just battling and have a tough at bat. I think that dugout really had to get a burst from that and got some chatter going and go, we can get after this guy. Look at our little freshman number 9 hitter out there standing in tall against him. Let's go get him. And that's exactly what they have done. And here with 2 outs in the 4th, they've been able to chase Trey Emmerich, and they'll now have to face the right-hander Josiah Peterson, who will come in relief. The only 2 pitchers that have pitched in this state tournament for Foley are Emmerich and Josiah Peterson. Peterson started the first game for Foley. Emmerich got the last 2 outs of that one. Emmerich started the second game, and Peterson got the last 2 outs of that one, but he'll be asked to get a lot more outs here in this one.
And as we were talking, one of the gifts of this rain delay, if we look on the bright side, is everybody's fresh. Cumulative week-long pitch count not in play, so you've got your entire roster of pitchers available. You're not worried about pitch count because, again, usually these teams are going to have 2 really solid arms, then there's a bit of a dip. And Peterson's certainly kind of a 1A and a 1B for the Falcons.
Yeah, 5-1 on the season, 48 innings pitched, 28 runs, 19 earned, 2.77 the ERA, 68 strikeouts to 22 walks, and look who you have to face as your first batter coming in relief.
Aiden Smith, over 1,000 hits in his career. Today, a triple and an RBI, 1 for 2. He bats with 2 outs and runners at the corners for the Rockford Rockets. That one hammered into the gap, right center. It's down. Motoring all the way is Edwards. Now that Binabos has scored, they're going to send Edwards. Smith for his second triple of the afternoon. He'll cruise into third base, standing up. And they add a couple more. It's 6-0. Rockford rolling in the state title game.
Yeah, the home run by Smith was his 100th hit of his career. 1,000 hits in a career, that would be a heck of a career. But the home run was his 100th. Now, back-to-back triples by Aiden Smith. 2 more RBIs, so 3 RBI for him. So the 2 and 3 spots in the order, Edwards and Smith, a combined 6 RBIs to really take charge of this one. It's 6-0.
In to run will be 15, Bradley Goose. At the plate, Jacob Eisentrager. Eisentrager will bat with a runner on third. It's 6-0. And boy, if you're over on that Foley bench, lined up on the dugout, you got to start thinking, what are we going to do to make some runs happen? Because 6 is a tall mountain to climb against Will Haas. There's a ball there.
And I'm sure out at second base, Enerson has to feel pretty lonely after mishandling that ground ball that would have got him out of this inning, and it's now turned into 4 big runs.
Yes, indeed. The error on the Binabos grounder kept the inning alive. 4 runs have since scored, all with 2 outs here for the Rockets. Eisentrager lets that one go. 2-1 now. And over at third is Bradley Gus, senior, pinch running. So greeted with an absolutely smashed ball was Peterson. Gussie, pardon me on that pronunciation. Bradley Gussie at third, and here it comes in. That one's gonna miss low, and a walk. So he gives up a triple and a walk, does Josiah Peterson. And they're at the corners again, and it's now Will Haas.
Yeah, the book is closed on Emmerich. He'll go 3 2/3 inning. He was responsible for the 2 runners on base, but because of that error at second base, all of these runs are unearned. But in a state championship game, it does not matter whether they're earned or unearned. If they're on the board, they're a beautiful thing if you're the fan of the Rockford Rockets.
9th batter of the inning for Rockford now is the pitcher Will Haas. On the day, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He did walk in the second. Strike there on the outside corner, but Haas okay with that because he gets that pitch as well.
Yeah, he's going to want that one going forward.
Runner will advance. So the force out is gone as Eisentrager takes second, no throw. Base hit here, scores 2. 1 2 now, righty to lefty. Got it, outside corner. Haas doesn't like it, but the damage done as 4 runs score after the error on the ground ball that would have ended the inning, and the Rockets race ahead. It is now 6-0. Rockford over Foley.
I've been going going to college now for like 4 years, and throughout my time here at McDonald's, I've earned a little over 12 grand in scholarship money from Archways. So
Archways each year gives me $2,500 for my tuition, which is a big deal.
While working at McDonald's, I've learned good time management skills and good communication skills.
after I started working here, I convinced a bunch of my friends to come work here too because I thought the job was so cool.
Star Tribune covers high school sports as passionately as you live them. Don't miss a beat on the games you love. Check out Star Tribune all day, every day for the latest prep news, scores, and so much more.
Welcome back to NSPN.TV. We're at Target Field. Ron Osman alongside as we get ready for the bottom of this fourth inning. And what a fourth inning it was there at the top for Rockford. They put 4 runs on the board after Emmerich thought he was out of the inning, got the ground ball that was misplayed in the field, and as a result, the Rockets jump. And we're now just going to see the top of this Foley lineup for the second time, while they've already been through 2.5 times. Some of the batters, 5 batters have batted 3 times for Rockford. So they've got to try a way to stretch out these innings and at least get a base runner on Will Haas.
Yeah, it's 9 up and 9 down for Haas, and it seems like about 45 minutes ago that he was last out on the mound.
Bryce Gapinski dies out of the way of that one. Umpire gesticulating wildly. I don't know what that was.
They want to just take that ball out of play.
Got it. Okay, he was watching the ball go. So Gapinski struck out swinging in the first. Had a chance to turn his shoulder into one there, didn't. So now 1 ball, 1 strike on Gapinski. 8 hits on the day for Rockford. No hits allowed right now for Haas. Gets that breaking pitch. We saw him a little unsettled at the plate as he ended the last inning on that outside pitch, but now I don't think he'll shake his head at all if he gets that call.
Okay, busted first pitch into Gapinski and then went to the breaking ball, had him off balance.
And he gets another strikeout there. That's number 7. So he ties Emmerich, who had 7 for Foley before his exit. High heat all the way for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th.
Peterson's now come in from the catching spot to take over on the mound.
Foul tip there. Struck out swinging did Peterson his first time at the plate. 1-1 here at Target Field, bottom 4. That one fouled off, but again, now we're starting to hear a little bit of that ping. It's been a long time since the top of the order's been at the plate, but they've got to be the aggressors here because it has been everything on Will Haas's terms so far today.
He just gets ahead of these batters in the count, and he can really do a lot of different things.
There's a ball we've seen misplayed. It's Moran in from second. 2 hands on the mitt. Routine as you like. Out number 2, but a ball in play there by Peterson.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of balls put in play, but when your pitcher is throwing strikes, as an outfielder, as an infielder, you're still on your toes. It's when they start throwing ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, walking guys, then you start to get on your heels a little bit. But right now with pitches coming and strikes across the plate, you almost expect that ball to come at you and be put in play.
It's also just fun to see your pitcher thrive. You know, you're in the game more. You're not worried. That one, though, tagged deep. This is Leach. Out to center field, Eisentrager back, and he will haul it in, properly positioned. And Haas, another 1, 2, 3 inning. And we've played 4 at Target Field. Rockford, 6. Foley Falcons, nothing. Ron, as we get ready for some highlights here, get our teams taking the field. We see Haas dealing early. 2 strikeouts there. See those benders coming in. He likes to go to that breaking pitch to seal the deal, but he can also go upstairs with some gas.
Yeah, I don't know how much time we get between innings here, but you could pretty much run a whole highlight of Will Haas strikeouts at this point. But Foley also has some highlights of their own in the batter's box, as you see that RBI single drilled out to left field by Edwards. He's got 3 RBIs on the day. First of 2 triples from Aiden Smith here.
Smith, the offensive engine for the Rockford Rockets, doing his job. And here's the 9th grader we've been talking about, Owen Schuster. Lifts a single, gets it going there with 2 outs And again, fired up Rockford there as Max Edwards, 2 RBI single to bring those 2 runs home. Rockford again looking at Smith, another triple, this one to right center, cruised into third, standing up with that one. Big high fives for the Rockford Rockets, and it's been all Rockets at the plate today as we see the grounds crew keeping this field playable. But what can we say about halfway through the game now? 4 innings in the books. We've already seen Emmerich. I mean, Emmerich, like you said, it wasn't a terrible line if we're looking at line-based things, but in the state title game, they were hitting him hard. They got to him kind of that second time through, and then the plays just didn't materialize defensively.
Yeah, they've given him a couple of extra outs here in the game with the ground ball. The pop-up in the infield turned into an out, but still, it doesn't make you feel good about how you're playing defensively when a routine pop-up comes out of the glove of the first baseman.
Just wasn't as crisp from Foley. We'll see if they can turn it around here as we move toward the second half. Top of the 5th right now, Lundberg, Moran, and Sanderson. This is the guys who started off the 4th. That one hit high, shallow right. Out for it is Enerson. No, it's going to be the first baseman, misplayed by Hermanson. Oh, and you just wonder there, the right side of this infield has been having all kinds of trouble for Foley today. You wonder if Enerson was just a little gun shy. That's a second baseman's ball.
Absolutely, even the right fielder can call that one off. The last of the 3 players playing that ball should be the first baseman, and you could see him for a minute there saying he doesn't see it well. Boy, at second base or the right fielder's got to read that and get over and call him off. They're seeing it the whole way. The first baseman, Hermanson, is backpedaling, and it's hard to catch a ball when you're backpedaling. Your head is rocking, the ball is bouncing, but Kapinski, or coming over from second base, should be able to call him off there and make that catch. Gonna go down as a hit.
It is going down as a hit. Riley Moran now at the plate. Throw over there to first. In running looks to be number 7, Joseph Evans. Here comes the 0-1. High and away.
Yeah, it's just those little things in a state championship game that can make all the difference in the world. You misplay a ground ball, the next thing you know, the opponent turns it into 4 runs. Now you give what should be nobody on, 1 out, give your pitcher a chance to maybe get a clean inning. Instead, that ball falls behind the first baseman, and you got a leadoff base runner on.
Changes the complexion. Peterson now from the stretch. That one upstairs and away. Moran having a heck of a state tournament. Reached on a fielder's choice and then singled to right and scored a run here in the state title game. Just about 75 minutes of game time gone by here. Friday afternoon, downtown Minneapolis. Diving back there, Evans. Held on by Hermanson.
They'll get Peterson to tuck that jersey in, look sharp and clean, even though it's a little bit dirty from, can't be from running the bases at this point. There hasn't been a base runner, but playing behind home plate to start the game, blocking balls.
And an unfamiliar scene as Moran's going to go back to the bench. He strikes out there. First strikeout recorded by Peterson. 1 on now with 1 out.
Challenging fastball here and just blows it past. Almost lost his hat. Tried to put everything behind that one and got it by Moran.
Wilson Sanderson here, struck out looking and struck out swinging. Looking to get on base here in the state title game. Evans will lead short from first, 3 steps. That one almost over that right side again. That's going to find the seats. You put it great, Ron. I mean, just trying to get your pitcher a clean inning. There's so many things you can do when you're in the field to just stay focused, execute, because it just changes the energy of your team. Right now, it just feels like Foley's very much playing from behind. As that one's hit hard into center field, Gapinski drifting back to his right. He will run it down. He is playing shallow out there. Evans retreats to tag back to first. So a nice running catch by Gapinski. And see if Peterson can deliver the last out and strand that leadoff runner.
Yeah, the high school baseball here with those outfielders playing way more shallow than you're used to seeing it. It looks cavernous out there to 411 and 403 to the power alleys in left and right center field. So Gopinski had to run a long ways to track that one down, but made a nice running catch.
Foul ball there from Owen Schuster. Stays in the box. Lined out to center and then singled and scored a run in that exciting fourth inning for the Rockford fans.
Yeah, Schuster got his chance late in the year, as Coach Hallahan said. 21 at-bats, 6 hits here in state tournament, and he has 2 good at-bats here, including a single and a run score.
1-2 now. 1 on and 2 outs. And I think you put it right. That's a great way to describe it. Solid at bats. They don't always have to result in getting on base, but making the pitcher work, getting a bat on the ball. That one's hit hard, and there's a nice play. Caught on the line drive by Hermanson. And that's maybe a little bit of a spark for this Foley team. As they go into the dugout, they still trail it here midway through the 5th inning, 6-0. Rockford has the lead, but a nice play now we can talk about from the right side of the infield. So that'll do it as we go to the break here. 6-0, Rockford over Foley on NSPN.TV.
Hey, bud, what are you doing here?
It's Kids Day.
Oh, you can be out here.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Uh-huh.
Come on, Pablo. Just look at him, man.
Please, Pablo.
It is Kids Day. You could run the bases after the game.
Okay, after the game.
Yes. Woohoo!
Run the bases and enjoy half-price kids meals. Experience Soda Summers at Target Field.
Welcome back to NSPN.TV. Joe Kolar with you here to a state title game at Target Field. We're midway through the 5th inning. Rockford explodes for 4 in the 4th after having just a 2-run lead, and now they've got their stud Will Haas dealing on the mound, the future Tennessee Volunteer. On cruise control, Foley, the Falcons, hunting for a base runner. We'll see if they can get it here. They'll send 4, 5, and 6 to the plate. Reed Hermanson, Trey Emmerich, I don't know if he's going to stay. Yeah, he's in the on-deck circle, and then Derek Damon. So if you're Foley, are you coming out swinging, or are you trying to get into 2-strike counts and just make him work a little more? Because he hasn't had to sweat at all out there.
No, but the way Haas has been coming in with strike one and this team that averages .330 a year on the season, they're not going to go up there with their bat on their shoulders looking to get a walk. They're going to be aggressive and go after Haas, but they just haven't had anything over the heart of the plate to go at. He's just painted that inside and that outside corner all day long.
Off speed there, quickly ahead 0-2. Hermanson struck out looking back in the 2nd. Junior first base. There's the ball put in play. Binabos. Routine over to Lundberg, but again, if we're looking for silver lining for the Foley Falcons, now we're seeing a little bit more action. The ball's getting in play, making these Rockford Rockets field the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball, and we've seen that that's not the easiest thing to do today.
No, 2 strikeouts in the 1st inning, 3 in the 2nd, but since then, just 2 strikeouts, so Foley is starting to put bat on ball, put the ball in play, and maybe wear Haas down a little bit here and find some holes, try to get something going and get him out of this rhythm that he's in after retiring 13 straight Falcon batters.
Emmerich at the plate, 1-1 count. His day on the mound ended as he was chased in the 4th. Strike called there. He didn't like it. 1-2. Bases empty, 1 out. Lefty here.
The Haas's like to go to the breaking ball against these left-handers.
See one there, and those, if that sets up 6 inches, maybe 10 inches more closer to the batter, he might grab the corner, but that one well outside. Good game being called so far by Edwards behind the plate. Here comes the 2-2. Fastball at the knees and a backwards K. Falcon faithful not fans of that call, but tell you what, when you're in a groove like Haas is, you start to get pitches because you're always there.
And Haas was called out on somewhat of a similar pitch in his last at-bat, so I'm sure he had that in his mind. Confidence to throw that pitch at 2-2. If he doesn't get the call, then it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count to Emmerich, but he knew where that umpire's strike zone is and got the call.
Derek Damon now struck out swinging in the second. Time called by Damon, and that's just a little bit of a crafty move by the senior. Something to, like you said, break the rhythm. Here comes the 1-0. That one's away. So now a 2-0 count. No batting gloves for Damon. He steps in. That one, perfect. 2-1. Falcons hunting for a base runner. That one outside. 3-1. Are they going to get it on a walk? We'll see here.
Damon, a two-time all-conference, all-section player at shortstop for Foley.
Chased one there on a 3-1 count. Got excited, and Haas has worked it back full after falling behind 2-0. Got him swinging. 5 perfect innings. Haas is fired up as the Rockets roll back to the dugout. This was smoke.
15 up, 15 down for the big left-hander from Rockford, and you see the reaction there from the Rocket pitcher, and he is hopping into the dugout with a shutout and 5 perfects so far.
It's 5 in the books. We'll be back with the 6 here on NSPN.TV.
Springfield finishes their season with an overall record of 25-2 and is the Class A 2024 state champion.
As that one popped into the alleyway in right field, that's going to land. Watch to Bilson. He's going to round third. He's going to go for home. No throw. First run of the game goes to Parker's Prairie. They lead 1-0.
They are good ball players. Dad, one of the coaches, excellent as well.
That pitch swung on, lifted into left center field, and deep. It's going to get over the head of everybody and land on the warning line near the warning track. Cade Knockreiner into second with an RBI double, and we're tied. Infield will go back, and that'll bring up Beers, who rips in and over the jumping Steidel into left field for a base hit, an RBI base hit for Beers. From the stretch, set. Here's the 1-2. Called strike 3, and Springfield wins the Class A state championship, and then Bob Knockreiner on the mound.
What an incredible performance. 11 strikeouts.
Welcome back to NSPN.TV. Ron Osterman, Joe Kolar here in the booth at Target Field. Class 2A state title game, and we got a good one going for the Rockford Rockets. They are up 6-0 here as we go to the top of the 6th. Top of the lineup, a dangerous place. Binabos, Edwards, and Smith facing second pitcher of the day for Foley, and that is Josiah Peterson. Binabos on the day, struck out swinging, doubled to center, and reached base on an error. He scored 2 runs. 1-1 count here, base is empty, nobody out. Top 6, kind of inside on the fist, couldn't catch up. Good pitch from Peterson. He's ahead now. 1-2. Righty to righty, that one, no doubter. And again, we're coming off an inning ending, really kind of a diving catch. Nice play there to end the last inning. We'll see if they can get some energy. Can Peterson thrive on that? They've got to have a quick inning, get back in the dugout. Foley does, to see if they can get something going offensively. But now Edwards, he's had quite the day. There's a strike though, delivered.
Yeah, Peterson happy to get that first out here in the 6th, because right behind Binabo is Edwards and Smith. 5 for 6, 6 RBIs, couple of triples, double, 4 runs scored. That's where they've done most of the damage. So keep Binabo off the base and face these 2 with nobody on base.
Breaking pitch gonna miss outside. Leach, Damon, Enerson, Hermanson, left to right on the infield for the Falcons. Doing the catching is Alexander Jennison. It's Molitor, Gopinski, and Luke. Left to right in the outfield.
Officially just one error on the board against Foley, but there certainly were some outs to get there that they haven't got at this point in the game.
Walk there to Edwards. He's on base for the 4th time today, and here comes Aiden Smith.
Yeah, you could tell Peterson was not happy about losing Max Edwards there and having to face Aiden Smith with a runner on base, have to pitch from the stretch, have to worry about a base runner on their potential stolen base opportunity. And then you've got this big right-hander who's now got 9 doubles, 4 triples, and 7 home runs to his credit on the season.
There is a lot of power at the plate right now. Peterson to Smith. Here comes the 0-1. Hard hit. Can they turn 2? Leach goes to second for 1. The relay is not going to be in time. But still, as far as at bats go, with Edwards on base and Smith at the plate, you'll take a fielder's choice.
Coach Mike Byer will take that all day long with the Foley Falcons. And Leach really just stayed back and made sure he was going to get that first out. If you happen to get a quick turn and get the double play out of it, great. But make sure you get that first out and don't give these Rockets any more opportunity to add to this lead.
Absolutely. Runner on first. That's Smith now. 2 outs here. Top of the 6th. Swing and a miss at the plate. Eisentrager. Runner will advance as that one popped away, and there you go again. That's just those kind of little details that aren't as crisp as Foley wants them. And now, all of a sudden, the force out's gone at second. A single probably scores another run.
Yeah, but that's Alex Jennison, who has come in to take over catching when Josiah Peterson went from behind the plate to the pitching rubber. And he will take over the signal caller for Foley the rest of the way with Peterson on the mound.
Foul ball ripped down third base, foul by about a yard.
That's part of the fun here of being at a Target Field. We didn't have to announce that. A home plate umpire has got that call for us. They got microphones all around this place, all sorts of different camera angles. So, man, what a privilege for us to be able to call a game here from Target Field with all the sights and sounds of a major league ballpark at the high school level.
Fun for the kids, fun for us too. That one hit left side again. Leach gets a glove on it, has to make the throw, and he will. And that will retire the side. And we played 5 1/2 innings of baseball, 6-0 still for Rockford as Eisentrager, I should say, grounds out. Good defensive plays there by Leach. We hadn't seen a lot of balls on the left side of the infield, and now we do. We see that leather is working for the Falcons.
Yeah, Leach, a couple good plays there. Get out of the inning. No more runs on the board. Will Haas will stroll back out. So far in this state tournament, it's 12 innings of work for Haas. Gave up 5 hits, all obviously to Blake, as he hasn't given up a base runner here in this one. And let's tally him up here. 18 strikeouts in those 12 innings of work here in this state tournament, but I guess not a complete and total surprise as he came into this game with 151 strikeouts on the season. So just more of the same from Will Haas.
Well, it just goes to show, I mean, this is Rockford's, like we said at the Open, someone's winning their first state title today. This is Rockford's first appearance in the tournament, and they've got the arm to ride to get them there as we come now toward bottom of the 6th. See the fans enjoying their time here. Also, another great thing we said, it's great for us to be able to announce at great angles. You get to sit in the fun seats close to the field here at Target Field, cheer on your hometown squad. We'll see if these Foley Falcons, though, can wake up the bats, give their fans something to cheer about. Enerson, Molitor, and it will be Jennison.
And let's remember, this Rockford team, which seems like it's in good position to win their state tournament, was down to their final 3 outs, down a run to a 14-10 Blake Bears team who kind of snuck through their section. They really weren't the favorite to come out of that section. They had these Rockets on the ropes, but Rockford came up with 2 in the bottom of the 7th to win that one, and now here they sit, 6 outs away from a state championship.
Enerson at the plate, fly to left his first time up. He swings and misses on the 1-1 there. 1-2. On deck, Molitor, Jennison to follow him. But Haas absolutely dealing. Got him. I've got that as the 10th strikeout of the afternoon for Haas. He's thrown 62 pitches, 43 of them strikes, and just blew it by him.
Yeah, just overpowered him right there. We're in the 6th inning, and he is just still firing gas. Little pump of the fist there after strikeout number 10 of the game. I kind of forgot to count one of the 2 innings. He had 2 strikeouts in.
You can be forgiven. There's a lot of Ks in the book to count. That one fouled straight back. So 64 pitches on the afternoon, 70% of them for strikes through 5 1/3 here for Haas. Very comfortable out there on the mound at Target Field. Molitor struck out looking back in the 3rd. He's down in the count 0-2. Here it comes.
Yeah, you had Lundberg back behind first base, tried to drag that one up that first base line just to get something going here, but high pitch, couldn't get on top of it.
Swing and a miss, make it 11. Nice play there by Edwards to stop it and apply the tag. Nobody on, 2 outs. It's the number 9 hitter, Jennison.
That's 4 strikeouts in a row here, 2 to end the 5th, 2 to start the 6th. And just flailing at that one. You get behind in the count to this big left-hander, and it becomes a battle in that batter's box.
That breaking pitch working now. He leads it off for Jennison for a strike. And once he gets ahead, he's just got so many options, and he keeps you guessing up there. There's a ball hit right side. He's got to feel his position. No one's at first. It's going to be close. Safe, an infield single. The first base runner of the day. A little miscommunication between Lundberg and Haas. And it leads to the 9 hitter, the DH, Alex Jennison. And look at that wry smile from Jennison. He earned it, put the ball in play, and something can happen.
We both had been so good about not mentioning the P word, and it's going to come to an end on just a little chopper up the first base line. Lundberg kind of caught in no man's land there, thought about going for the ball, then tried to retreat, and Jennison, hustling all the way off the bat, was able to beat Haas to the base for an infield base hit, and they have a base runner.
Strike called there. 0-2 on Gapinski. He struck out swinging.
Yeah, at this point, Haas isn't even looking at Jennison. He's just getting onto the rubber and taking his stretch and firing that ball towards home plate.
There's that outside corner, backwards K in the book. The perfect game has gone away, but he does strike out the side. We have played 6 innings of baseball here at Target Field. Rockford leads it 6-0. We'll keep it here. And as we make the transition to the 7th inning, we'll put Ron back in the driver's seat to bring us home as we look to see which of these teams is going to win their first ever state championship. And it looks like Rockford is in a great place to do it. 12 strikeouts from the left hand of Will Haas. Rockford 3 outs away, but they'll bat one more time, see if they can tack on a few more insurance runs here in the top of the 7th.
Hey, we're here at Target Field. Why don't you plan your group outing for here at Target Field? Plan your next family gathering at Target Field, whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or a family reunion. The Twins offer the perfect venue for your celebration. Enjoy flexible ticket options, no ticket fees, and discounts for groups of 20 or more. Find the ticket space right for you at twins.com/groups or text GROUPS, that's GROUPS, to 51655. Enjoy some Major League Baseball today. We're enjoying some fantastic high school baseball, and we got to thank the local meteorologist. The weather is participating for us to be able to get through this Class 2A state championship game. Springfield won the Class A championship just previously. They snuck the game in right before the rain started. They had to bring the tarp out before this one started, but was only a few minute delay. They were able to take the tarp off, get some diamond dried down, manicure this beautiful field at Target Field here in Minneapolis, And the team's got their quick infield, outfield in and took the field in this state championship game. Thought we were going to have a full-fledged pitching duel going, but the Rockets had something to say about that, as the top of the order for Rockford has really done the job in this one. Pat Binabose has been on base twice, scored 2 runs at the top of the order. Max Edwards, 3 for 3 on base all 4 times. 2 runs scored, 3 RBIs. Aiden Smith, back-to-back triples and 3 RBIs, and they are on the precipice of potentially celebrating their first state championship for Rockford.
Looks like they'll get number 10, Logan Vincino, in at bat here.
The Vicino will bat for Haas, so let's give him maybe just a little bit more rest for that 7th inning. You certainly know he's coming back out to try to finish this one off, but Vicino, the senior, get an at-bat here in this state championship game, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And strike called, so we'll even it up at 2-2. So good to see Coach Hallahan getting his senior here an at-bat.
Absolutely, that was his 2nd appearance in the state tournament, but always good to come to the plate at Target Field. Set him down as Peterson tries to keep it at 6. You know, 6 is a long way to go against Haas, as we see them swinging through that fastball there, but you know, a base runner here, a base runner there, you could stack something together, but it all starts right now in the top of the 7th. Peterson's got to be able to shut the door and get the Falcons back in the dugout and back at the plate.
Gets the pinch hitter on the strikeout on a 2-2 fastball. And here's the free swinging Colton Lundberg, who goes up there. He doesn't get cheated. He gets his hacks, and he fouls that pitch off back, so no balls and 2 strikes. Lundberg did single in his last at-bat in the 5th, but went after that outside fastball again, 2nd time that they've been able to bust one in. He got it in on his hands, fouled it off, but then they go away, and Lundberg just can't help but chase that one outside the zone and strikes out for the 3rd time in this game. But in between there, he did get a state championship game single and got on base here in this game. But 2 quick outs here for Josiah Peterson.
Looks Dornsbach now going to get a chance at the plate, stepping in for the hot-hitting Riley Moran.
Levin Carter Dornsbach, also a senior, going to get a chance to get a state championship game at bat. Jumps back from a fastball there, so 2 balls, 1 strike. For the senior Dornsbach, swing and a miss.
Dornsbach just his 15th plate appearance on the season, so great to see him have an opportunity to swing the bat here.
Changeup had him out on the front foot. Charged by Damon. He fires it across to Hermanson, and it is a quick 1-2-3 top half of the 7th inning. And you know what? I'll bet Will Haas doesn't mind that. He wants to get back out on that mound and finish off a gem of a state championship game. And we will face 2, 3, and 4 to try to get it done. But boy, he showed that in that last inning. When Jennison got on base, you thought maybe that might rattle him. He barely even took a stretch. He just got the ball back, put his foot on the rubber, put his hands together, and fired strikes in, and ended up getting the last out of the inning by striking out Gopinski.
Well, we said we were trying to stay away from the P word. He has perfect game cooking, and it's frustrating that it's on a little dribbler to first that something like that can be given away, because it's obviously an all or nothing proposition. Sometimes that looms so large in a player's mind about this very special thing that they just lost that they might lose their edge, they might lose focus, they might stop doing the things that got them in that position in the first place. Not a problem for Will Haas. He has been bringing it, brought it right there. We see him embrace on the mound with his catcher, Edwards, who's called a gem of a game behind the plate. And I think we're going to see the best of Haas here in the 7th to try to close out and win the first title in school history for the Rockford Rockets.
Yeah, undeterred, but you got to take a deep breath here and kind of keep your emotions in check. It is the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the order, and as you see, maybe overthrows that first pitch a little bit. Fastball up in the zone, but again, these Foley batters haven't been able to get real comfortable in that batter's box at all against Haas, and now that curveball misses off the outside corner, so behind 2-0. I can really only remember 1 or 2 3-ball counts against Haas at all in this one, and at 2-0, Josiah Peterson being aggressive here. A lot of times you might think down by 6 runs, bottom half of the 7th inning, 3 outs left to get, you're going to take a strike before you hack, but you know what? You might only get 1 good pitch to hit against Will Haas in an at-bat, so got to be aggressive, and Haas comes back and fires another strike that Josiah Peterson fouls away, so right back at even now, 2-2. Off-speed pitch drilled into left center field, and a running catch is made out there by the left fielder, Strahler. So the first time really that a Rockford Rocket defensive player has been tested, and the left fielder, Strahler, true to the test, a great running catch for the first out of the bottom half of the 7th.
Hardest hit ball of the night off a Foley bat. It was a running catch. He got a good beat on it. We've talked about the space out there, just wide open green grass. Strahler was properly positioned, something that's tough to do. We talked about that earlier with the Foley center fielder. He's in the right spot, can run it down, makes the catch. 1 out, they're 2 outs away.
And give credit, Strahler is the player that's just playing defense, hasn't had a lot of balls. You could be out there picking dandelions and kicking around in the grass, because I haven't seen a baseball hardly all day, and there you go, the ball's hit over your head, you got to make a running catch, and Riley Strahler, the senior, comes up with the first big out of the bottom half of the 7th inning, 1/3 of the way to a state championship for Rockford here in the 7th. 2-ball, 1 strike count now to Brett Leapsh, who has put the ball in play both times against Will Haas. Popped out to second, flew out to center field, and a big cut there at a fastball at 2-1. So Leapsh, again, Foley is staying aggressive here against Haas, but Haas has just been too much for them to handle to this point. Fouled back and out of play to the right.
Well, you've been talking about the aggression. I think one thing also about that great catch from Strahler, that, let's say it gets down. Maybe it's just a double, right? But it also has the potential to open the floodgates. We saw with the error in the 4th inning for Foley what it meant for Rockford. That was a big momentum stopping catch there by Strahler, so that it really denied that flicker of hope from really glowing anymore for Foley.
A good take by Leapsh here, kind of had him in swing mode. That one down in the dirt, but Leapsh not overly aggressive, didn't chase, and now on a good 3-2 pitch, fouls it back and out of play.
Good battle here from Leapsh, really just kind of making, this is the hardest Haas has worked all day.
And strike 3 on the outside corner. We've seen it all day long. This umpire has been a pitcher's best friend on the outside corner, but he's been very consistent, and he's done it for both teams. So neither team has a complaint about the home plate umpire. You know the call. Really, Leapsh needs to protect that plate there. Took called strike 3, and the fans rise here as Reed Hermanson steps in. Last hopes for Foley, and Haas reaches back for something extra. Fires in strike 1. With each pitch, these fans more and more excited. Grounder to second. Moran gobbles it up over to Lundberg, and get ready, Rockford. Your state champion Rockford Rockets are bringing a Class 2A state championship trophy back to Rockford High School, and I would hope the first one off the bus carrying that trophy in his left hand will be Will Haas, because he was definitely the player of the game defensively. You got to credit the top of the order in Benabos, Edwards, and Smith, combining to drive in 6 runs in that top 3 spot in the order. And Rockford does it at the plate, Rockford does it on the mound, and they are the Class 2A state champions.
Will Haas strikes out 13. through 7 innings of work, 87 pitches, 70% of them, 61 for strikes. That clearly the difference today. We knew he would be strong. And let's be honest, even though they traced Emmerich there in the 4th, we're 1 ground ball away from a properly played ball. If that error doesn't happen, all of a sudden we're in a tight game. It's 2-0. We keep rolling along, and I think we see Emmerich go longer. But it opened the door a crack for the hot bats from Rockford, and they really leaned on it. Edwards was dynamic at the plate, reaching base 4 times. We've talked about all that Aiden Smith brings. But again, I think kudos Coach Hallahan for making the change to get the freshman Owen Schuster to the 9 spot in the lineup for a little spark, to try to roll it over a little bit, move it forward, and he did just that. So we see Rockford celebrate the first state baseball championship in school history. Well earned and well deserved.
Yeah, congratulations to both teams. Great season. Foley coming in here after knocking off the defending state champion and #1 seed Esco in the semifinals, but they just ran into a buzzsaw in Will Haas here in the state final. So we do have an award ceremony coming up for you. Make sure you stick around. Rockford is the state champion. They will do so winning 18 of their last 19 games on the season, and a very deserving and a very fitting state champion Rockford Rockets. 31 games for a high school baseball season. They win 26 of them. The 3 most important ones over Blake, LeSueur Henderson, and then here against Foley in the state championship game. And they will be bringing the first ever state baseball championship back to Rockford High School here on what turned out to be a very nice day for baseball. We had some rain to start, but we got enough break in the clouds, and the teams were told, let's make sure we play efficiently here in this game. And boy, did Will Haas take that to heart.
Absolutely. I think not only will he take it to heart, faced just 1 more than the minimum today, 20, which, you think about that dribbler, he'll watch that highlight. I mean, he'll be holding his state championship as we go down to the public address announcer for the awards.
Financial Credit Union All-Tournament Team, chosen by members of the Baseball Coaches Association. These students have distinguished themselves by their athletic excellence, leadership, team commitment, exceptional sportsmanship. And now the 2024 Class 2A Baseball All-Tournament Team. These athletes are unable to be with us. Finn Fierk from Esco. Sam Haugen, also from Esco. Alex Bloom from Pyram. Hunter Street from Zumbrota Mazeppa. From LeSueur Henderson, Sam Gupton. From Foley, Trey Emmerich. From Foley, Jeremiah Peterson. From Rockford, Aiden Smith. From Rockford, Max Harrison. From Rockford, Will Haas. Congratulations to all members of the 2024 Minnesota State High School League All-Tournament Team. Our award ceremony will be conducted by Eric Martins, Executive Director of the State High School League, Bob Madison, our Tournament Director, and members of the Minnesota State High School League Board of Directors, including Bill Tower from the Tracy area and Dong Ingebretson from Rockford. Silver medals and the second place Class 2A team trophy are awarded to Foley High School. Please step forward as your name is called to accept your medal. Jace Molitor. Trey Emmerich. Josiah Peterson. Bryce Kapinski. Alex Jennison. Brett Leach. Chase Daler. Keegan Frisbee. Tyler Wilhelmi. Jaden Enerson. Noah Brunn. Wyatt Luke. Michael Yanta. Noah Kapinski. Teddy Rasmussen. Deegan Beck. Reed Hermanson. Derek Damon. Gavin Owen. Jordan Lewandowski. Student manager Gavin Worth. Student manager Jake Munson. Assistant coach Mitch Keeler. Assistant coach Dan Murad. And head coach Mike Byer. At this time, we ask the captains from Foley to please come forward to accept your second place trophy. Put your hands together for the Foley Falcons. They finished with an overall record of 23-5. Congratulations to Mike Byer and his coaching staff. Gold medals in the championship. Class 2A Tournament Champion Trophy will be awarded to Rockford High School. Jake Eisentrager. Wilson Sanderson. Pat Benabose. Aiden Smith. Riley Moran. Will Haas. Joe Evans. Max Edwards. Matt Rothy. Logan Vecino. Carter Dornsbach. Noah Torborg. Brad Gronke. Owen Schuster. Brad Gussie. Billy Tombers. Riley Strahler. Colton Lundberg. Assistant coach Derek Bratch. Assistant coach Aaron Jensen. And head coach Cody Hallahan. And now at this time, we ask the captains from Rockford High School to please come forward to accept your state championship trophy. The Rockford Rockets finished with an overall record of 26-5 and are the 2024 Class 2A state baseball champions.
We'll put this one in the books. Cody Hallahan, in his second season as the head coach at Rockford, will take home a state championship. 19 seniors, 10 for Foley, 9 for Rockford, played their last game as a senior representing their school in a uniform today. They'll always remember it, none more than Will Haas and Aiden Smith, who did it on the mound and in the plate as seniors. They will finish their career as state champions.
Yeah, well earned, well deserved. Obviously, the headline ink should and will go to Will Haas, but let's think about other spots on this lineup. We asked Coach Hallahan before the season as we get ready to run some of our highlights. We said, what is it makes this team special? Resiliency and competitiveness. You saw it in spades today. I mean, the fans fired up. You know what it means. And anytime you do something for the first time as a school and a community, you'll always remember it. They hold a special spot now in Rockford lore, and their bats were alive. I think we've talked about Owen Schuster, the freshman, really stepping up. And that was early in the game, if you remember, when Emmerich was dealing and he put that one behind him. Right, and there was a little bit of a hoot and a holler from the dugout. Come on, Shu, the older boys on the Rockford team cheering on their freshmen, and he's the one who helped really ignite the spark offensively. I also think it does matter in the seventh. That Strahler catch in left was a huge momentum stopper. That was the hardest hit ball of the night. Certainly was going to give Foley hope, and yet Strahler was well positioned, ran out, and he made the routine play, something that kind of eluded, disappointingly, the Foley defense today. But for sure, worthy state champions, the Rockford Rockets, now 26-5 on the year, and truly a really special thing to watch. One out away, really, from a perfect game in the state championship game.
Yeah, they weren't asked to do a lot defensively, but just one perfectly placed little roller up the first base line by the number 9 hitter, Alex Jennison, stood between Will Haas and a perfect game. But you know what? At this point, he doesn't care. He's got a gold medal around his neck. He's got the state championship trophy in his hands, and he's going to bring the first ever state championship trophy back to Rockford High School. So again, what a privilege, what an honor it is for us to bring you these games in the state tournament of baseball. We crown all champions here on the Neighborhood Sports Network and from Target Field. For our production crew, for Joe Kohler, this has been Ron Osterman from Target Field in Minneapolis. We bid you a great afternoon. Enjoy the 3A and 4A finals tomorrow.